What's happening, everyone? I just wanted to make a little video kind of talking about what I did last week, or not what I did, but the drawings that I did last week. I actually did quite a bit. I'm quite impressed with myself. Hopefully I can keep this up, but we will see. So these two drawings I did during a TikTok live stream. This person is actually Paul Gray from Slipknot. I remember it was really early in the morning and I was actually quite tired and complaining about it a lot. Actually, I was like, man, I can't draw at all. And I specifically remembered that I was really troubled by the fact that this face was not a 3/4 view, but just barely off center, and I was struggling to draw this individual. Not only that, but the actual image that I was working from was very dark. So all this area, all these little areas of like this dark tone was it was too dark for me to like know what was happening. Like I couldn't tell where the chin and the side of the face ended and where certain things began on this left-handed area of the face here. And I remember I was struggling quite a bit. I was quite happy with how it turned out. Wasn't really impressed, but I managed to kind of dial it in and bring the drawing to a somewhat nice finish. And this is, I don't know, I think this might be, I believe it's Zuko from Atla. I don't know these characters. I get a lot of anime requests or manga characters, anime manga character requests on my TikTok channel, and this was one of them. I remember that when I was doing this, I think I was struggling with his eyes. Part of the reason why I struggle with the eyes is, well, I'm not really great at eyes, but I typically get the angles wrong. And right here, this little angle right here, this little drawing of a shape right here was me kind of articulating or telling the viewers, that the people that are watching, that this is more of what the eye looks like. On this one, I made the eye kind of like curve a little bit. But later on I figured out, well, I didn't figure it out, but typically when you're drawing, you don't really notice the error that you did of what you did until after you did the mistake. And when I did that, I realized that this is more closer to what the shape of his eye looked like. It was a fairly easy drawing to do. Not easy, but it was fairly successful. I was able to get it done really quickly. At least I think so. And then during the live stream, someone asked me to do a draw on a Mew, and then I pointed out all the errors that I did on drawing Mew, and I did a quick little shape demo explaining the shape of Mew's head and how I should have done this as opposed to this. Like, this was close, but this is closer to the shape of Mew's head. And when you're doing drawing of any sort, as I said, you find those errors after the fact. And if you're doing a drawing that you're going to spend actual time on, you can correct those errors. But at that time, I couldn't correct those errors. I was more focused on just finishing this. This was just kind of like an afterthought. And this was another batch of requests that I got for on my TikTok live. I think the next drawing I did was Rudo. This was Rudo from Gotcha Kuta. I don't know, but like, I think I did an okay job. It was fun. I enjoyed it. If you can see behind here, there's Vegeta. Someone asked me to draw Vegeta during my live, and I'm like, I was telling them I had to go. Like, my live streams are typically an hour, and I really just had to leave. I was like running short in times. So I said to the person, like, hey, I'll draw a quick Vegeta, but there's no promises, man. I'm gonna probably mess it up. And lo and behold, I started out okay, and then I just bombed it. Like, I was like, there we go. That's what happens when I'm when the clock is ticking and I had to shoot that free throw. And then what else did they have me draw? This is Arthur Lewin. I don't know. It's another anime character. I made the character kind of cross-eyed. When I'm doing these live streams, the sketchbook is at an angle that is very not. It's not. When I'm doing a live stream, the angle of the sketchbook is not in a great position for me. It creates distortion. Like I can't see. Like it creates distortion from my perspective. So like from my perspective, the character looks fine, but like when I tilt up the character or tilt up the drawing, there like either the head's too long or basically the head is too long. Like it's just distortion. There's distortion that happens, and I can't explain it. I don't know the math, but like because of the angle of the sketchbook and because of the position I'm in when I do these live streams, I can't accommodate or adjust accordingly. I don't remember this character, but someone asked me to draw him. And since it was a fairly simple character, I was like, okay, I'll draw it really quickly. And it's, I don't know, kind of scratchy, but it turned out all right. And then someone wanted me to draw Doctor Doom, which I assume has to do with the fact that Fantastic Four has been, the new Fantastic Four movie is out, and some of these villains that Fantastic Four battle off and on are, on there. So, and also Doctor Doom's going to be like a main character or something like that in the future Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I had someone requested me to draw Doctor Doom, and so I did, rather hastily, which is why everything's so scratchy. And then I did a few more. I did a lot of drawing last week, which is quite nice. To the left here is some warm-ups, and then to the right was Arthur Morgan from Red Dead, and that one turned out pretty nice. I was quite pleased with that. And then someone had me draw Queen Elizabeth. When I draw people, I need a lot more time than an hour. Like a lot more time. I'm just not one of those artists that can just knock out a portrait really quickly. I really have to spend a lot of time. There's someone outside doing some yard work. Great. The only time I can do a video is when people are working. That's how it is. That's how it goes, really. So someone's outside doing yard work. Anyways, when I draw portraits of people, I need a lot more time than I have available to me. And I was struggling with this with Queen Elizabeth because for one, I'm not really great at drawing portraits at a small scale. I need a lot of like area to work with, and I need a lot more time to kind of see proportions and scale and see shapes. And usually after an hour plus or 2 hours or 3 hours, I really start to see where I made my errors. At the beginning, I don't see them. I have a little bit of like a hard time seeing those mistakes early on. I do see them early on, but I see a lot more later, and I'm able to make the proper corrections to get a better likeness. Now, I ran out of time on this one. I didn't have enough time to really establish any value range, so I just kind of called it a day and moved on. This one on these 2 pages, this was an hour's worth of work. I just did some warm-ups for about 15 minutes, and then I practiced what's it called? A Riley head? Yeah, I think the Riley head construction. There was a YouTube channel that showed a very in-depth how-to video on how to create a Riley head, and I kind of followed it step by step. And this is what I got from it. Then the next one is another hour of work. I had like roughly 15 to 20 minutes of warm-ups here. And then this is something I've been doing a lot lately, which is these drawings that are basically high contrast drawings, where I just take the shadow and the highlight and kind of simplify them into two tones. And one of the things I like to do when I do this exercise is I usually use glass, because glass or glassware or metallic shapes or metallic objects. So like, like teapots, coffee pots, stuff of that sort, metal pots and pans, because they're generally easy to see the highlight and the shadow. And so I typically just take a blue pen, kind of make my marks, and then I go over it with a black marker. And then this is another hour's work. I think I did this as a warm-up, and then I drew Zorro. Struggled with this, ran out of time. Certain things I kind of liked. I think I did a pretty good job in this area. I don't think I got the hat right. I think that I made the hat like 1.25% bigger, or just it felt too large. I noticed a thing that I was struggling with. I was finding that I make hats way too large when I draw them on top of people. I never thought that would have been a thing, but apparently it is. When you draw hats too big. So that's what I did. I drew hats way too big. I kind of struggled with this because in this area, I don't know what's happening. Like, it's so dark. Everything in this area is too dark to know like where structure and form are at. And you have to kind of like eyeball where the placement of things are at, or the placement of things, and I was struggling with it. So I just kind of like cut my losses, and after an hour I stopped. And this is the last thing I did last week. I did it was supposed to be analogous color scheme where everything's kind of the similar color. So like you have a still life that is various hues or various colors of yellow. So I did a drawing like that. I was less concerned about like capturing the likeness of the objects and more concerned with just playing around with colors so that it so I kind of captured the color scheme from the image that I was the source material, the source image that I was working from. So, obviously yellows don't have oranges or greens in it, but or blues or pinks. But this is just me playing around with colors and seeing how they kind of react with each other. And then experimenting with heavy marks and more spontaneous mark making. And as I said, less concerned with actually capturing a likeness or capturing the still life perfectly, and more concerned about like just kind of being more, having more fun with it, exploring more colors, and exploring just the feeling of creating, as opposed to like capturing the likeness of that thing. I don't know. I can't really explain it. Other than I'm just not worried about it looking like the thing that I'm drawing and just having more fun with it. Anyways, that is what I did last week, and hopefully I'll be creating more this week. And anyways, I hope you liked what I drew. I hope you got some inspiration, and maybe you have some motivation to get cracking on work for this week. Well, anyways, I gotta get going. Thank you so much for watching. You all rock. Cheers.